Hi, it's Jill Osborne from the Interstitial Cystitis Network. I just got back from our local farmers market and it was wonderful. Farmers markets in the summertime are fabulous because from fresh fruits to berries to the best veg you can get, melons you can get, watermelons. It's just a lovely place to spend an hour or so and get some really good healthy foods that are actually quite bladder friendly. And so I thought I'd take a moment and share my haul with you. Okay, so of course, rule number one, zucchini. Zucchini is the perfect IC friendly veg. Slice it up thin, saute it with some olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, you're gold. Of course, if you love to make zucchini bread, zucchini muffins, you can't go wrong. You can even do zucchini in omelets. Love, love, love zucchini. Of course, it comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes and colors. You can get pale green zucchini, you can get yellow zucchini, crookneck squash, you can get zucchini that's yellow and has a little green dome. It's so interesting, all the many different types of zucchini out there, but this is a fabulous veg for those of us who tend to be a little bit more sensitive to fruits and veg. All right, cucumber. You know, when it's a hot day and you just want something light to eat, you cannot go wrong peeling and slicing a cucumber, putting a little bit of your favorite salad dressing on it, or you can throw in some carrot, throw in some feta cheese or whatever. Cucumber is the go-to veg for light salad. Maybe you can do it with chicken salad on top. It's just fabulous. Can't go wrong. Now I tend to be a little bit contrary. I happen to love eggplant, but I really like Japanese eggplant, which is kind of long, skinny as compared to these bigger eggplants, so they didn't have any Japanese eggplant. The cool things about these is you can slice them thin, pat them dry, coat with butter and then coat with egg, and then saute it in olive oil. And I'm telling you, it comes out almost tasting like custard. So if you've never had eggplant, give it a try. It's quite an adventure. Now, of course, one of the go-to veggies for summer is corn. Corn, especially fresh corn off the vine, on the cob and off of the stalk, is perfectly IC friendly for the vast majority of patients out there, as long as you don't put things like chili powder on it. Keep it simple. Just you can grill it over the barbecue. Don't put barbecue sauce on it, or you can boil it. A little bit of butter, a little bit of salt and pepper. Good to go. Gotta love some corn. And okay, from a fruit standpoint, this is why I went over in the first place. Oh, my friends, the mighty peach. In the IC world, we talk about bladder-friendly fruits, and we usually go to things like Gala or Fuji apples, and we go to berries. But there's a thing you have to understand about fruits and veg, and that is the riper they are, the lower in acid they are. And one of the problems with these big supermarkets is that they basically harvest fruit way too soon, and they want it to ripen kind of in the truck on the way to the store. But it never gets quite as ripe as it would if it were on the vine. So as the sugars increase, as it matures, the acid levels decrease. And so these are literally perfectly ripe peaches. And I think I will be making like a peach cobbler tonight. Something like that to go with my peaches. Love, love, love them. Of course, I also love melons. Most IC patients can do cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, although every now and then you find somebody who has a little trouble with melons. Berries, loving the blackberries, loving the blueberries. Strawberries, a little bit more acidic. I would always get those organic and just make sure they're super, super ripe. And I just really wouldn't eat a lot of strawberries at one time, but I think you could eat a handful of things like blackberries, blueberries. Throw in a strawberry or two, and that should be okay. Now remember, of course, we also have pre-leaf. Pre-leaf is an acid reducing supplement that you can take if you're going to eat something that's a little bit more risky, that will kind of reduce some of the acid irritation. Okay, now to the controversy. Oh, the mighty tomato. Now again, we have to go back to our rule. The riper the fruit, the lower the acid. So tomatoes off the vine that you ripen in your yard tend to be a lot less acidic than tomatoes you get in the store. We also know that yellow tomatoes are naturally lower in acid than red tomatoes. So I got myself, see, this is perfect. This is, you can see, it's ready to go. I'm going to be slicing some of this and either eating it on toast or as part of a salad tonight for dinner. Loving the slices of tomato. Now remember, tomato irritation is based on the quantity of acid. And we always say you got to stay away from things like pasta sauce. Well, think about it. A cup of pasta sauce or a cup of tomato sauce is the juices and acid of about a dozen tomatoes. That's a lot of acid. Compare that with one slice from one very, very ripe tomato. Much less acid. So we've always said for many years, you might be able to get away with a slice of tomato on a sandwich as compared to a cup of tomato sauce. And this is, remember, we phenotype now. Not everybody's food sensitive, but the patients who are going to be the most food sensitive are going to be the patients with Hunner's lesions or patients with estrogen atrophy or chemocystitis. And so a little bit of tomato might actually be okay because there's so little residual acid in it. And again, remember, pre-leaf. Of course, I also got, because I just wanted to show it to you, an orange tomato. So this is not red. Here's a red tomato. They always hand out tomatoes when you buy them, so they threw this in for me. So you can see the difference. Again, orange tomatoes, yellow tomatoes are going to have much less acid than the red tomatoes. But here's my favorite. Oh, my friends. You know what these are? These are vine-ripened yellow pear tomatoes. And they are so sweet. It's like eating candy. Oh my God. There's an acid in that. It is just a beautiful mouthful of ripe, sweetened tomato. And so this is a perfect example of being able to introduce a little bit of tomato back into your diet. You could even cut them, saute them in olive oil, and maybe put them on some fresh pasta with maybe throw in some mushrooms, maybe throw in a little bit of fresh basil, something like that, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And this is a way for you to enjoy a little bit of pasta again without going for that hard red sauce. So we're absolutely loving the yellow pear tomatoes. So I don't want you to be afraid to eat. There's no reason for you to be afraid to eat. And I know some of you are. You don't need to be. Number one, it always begins with your phenotype. We have to understand the underlying cause of your symptoms to try to treat you, to try to find the right treatments for you. Some of you out there have no food sensitivities. I don't have food sensitivities now anymore. Now that my bladder wall has healed and my muscles have relaxed and restored blood supply to my bladder is good. I can eat all of these. I couldn't have eaten them 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but I can now. Again, the patients with Hunner's lesions are going to be the most bladder sensitive. Patients with estrogen atrophy are going to be more sensitive. Patients with chemocystitis, because they've injured their bladder through a chemical exposure, they also are going to be a little bit more sensitive. But for patients with pelvic floor dysfunction, usually can eat a few more foods, but we got to get the blood supply restored by relaxing those muscles with some good physical therapy to really give the bladder enough blood to heal. It's called ischemia. That's what we're trying to reverse in patients with pelvic floor dysfunction, and that's why they can be sometimes food sensitive. And of course, widespread pain patients with central sensitization have to avoid the neurostimulatory foods, things with caffeine. But anyway, here's my haul. I'd love to hear the foods that you get at your farmer's market that work for you. I'll see you on the other side.